soul, welcome to my channel. Happy Easter, or whenever you are watching this. These are going to be messages aligned with the Easter theme, which is all about, I believe it's resurrection, rising from the dead. So it felt right to focus on information that will help you understand where you are being potentially reborn or born into. And of course, that's a metaphor. Another way I can say it is, what part of you is being born right now? So you are likely someone who is a healer. You might be a practicing healer. You might be a non-practicing healer. It doesn't mean you think of yourself as a healer. At the end of the day, the reality is we are all our own healers. That's just the way it is. What we do with it, whether we choose to believe it or not, that's another question. That's another conversation to be had. But you are likely to someone who at least connects with the idea of healing, self-healing, things like that, and potentially offering healing to other people. Okay, so as the theme suggests, we are in a process of reawakening, remembering, reconfiguring ourselves on an energetic level in order to wake up from this dream we call life. And you are no different. So you are someone who's in a process of waking up. And when we wake up to new things, generally speaking. So you are likely someone who is waking up to new things. And some of these things are very important things because they are very valuable and they are very shareable. So you have something to share with the world. Everyone does. But if you're listening to this, it's something a little bit more specific. So I'm going to go through 3 different piles, and we will see what part of you is being born. What part of you are you gaining access to, or will you be gaining access to? And of course, you already know that you are a tremendous being. You have a physical body, and you often think of yourself as a body, because being in the body is limiting. Your ideas about what you have to offer or don't have to offer are also very limiting. So the more you, the less you recognize yourself strictly as a human being, the more you will be tapping into these other abilities that your humanness says it cannot be or cannot happen. Pretty much anything is possible when you have the right energy, right information. Example that's coming to mind is people walk through walls. Those people who walk through walls believe they can walk through solid objects. There's very few people in the world who actually believe that, because we are conditioned to believe that solid objects you cannot walk through. It's all in the mind. So we already know that everything is the product of the mind. We are part of the greatest mind that exists, which some call God. So we could also say that you are literally part of all that is, which is source of everything. And you and I are connected to it all the time. The only disconnection is our point of reference and the judgments we have about ourselves. So the more you release your own judgments, the more you release your own limiting conditioning. And the less conditioning you subscribe to, the more you will experience. That's just how it goes. And releasing requires letting go. So you are someone in the process, I can pretty much guarantee you, of letting go of something, maybe someone, likely a sense of an identity. Okay, so if you resonate with this, this is a very often arduous process, because it literally is you changing your psyche. Can I use that analogy? And that can feel, well, a little bit uncomfortable, but it is what it is. Changing your psyche, changing your mind. When you change your mind, you let go of what the mind has been telling you. But you're not letting go of your mind. You're letting go of your small mind. Your small mind is what divides you and what denies you of your gifts, of your truth. So you are letting go of that mind, the smaller mind, so you can participate with the big mind, which is the source of all that is. But anyway, let's move through these piles. If you are drawn to more than one, that's absolutely beautiful. Chances are there's something in those piles for you. If you want to watch all three, something in there for you, some nugget. If some things don't make sense to you, don't worry about it. Just let it go. Maybe it's just to plant a seed that will eventually grow into something more. And for some of you, you will recognize it right away. So it will be a lot of confirmations. I also want to say this. Don't be afraid Don't be afraid of what's coming, because what's coming likely is really good. And often we seem to be afraid of what's coming because we don't know. But it's because also we are expecting. So watch your expectations right now. If you expect the worst for yourself, which is predominantly driven by fear, then you're putting out that expectation into the world. Does that mean it's going to happen? Well, chances are if you are expecting something to happen, you're going to make damn sure you're going to make it happen. That's just the way it is. So if we are focusing on fears, then, we are not going to experience anything other than that. So we have to shift our thinking. Does that mean we have to deny our fears? Absolutely not. Denial is not what you want. Fear is necessary. Fear is important. Fear is also very valuable in its right space at the right time. What we don't want is we don't want to be fear-bound, because when we are fear-bound, we are bound to fear, and fear is what defines us. You are no longer wanting to be defined by your fear. I, as Joanna, don't want to do that either anymore. All right, so let's move through each pile and let's see what we get. So let us see pile one. What part of you is wanting to be born, or what you'll have access to? I'm just going to let you look at this image, a person who's being cracked open. I don't even have to read this, and I already know what's happening. You are literally being cracked open. But what does that mean? You are being open to your own inner light, is what I want to say. And your own inner light literally means a certain level of understanding. Okay? Rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. So something powerful is happening in your life right now, pile number one. I don't feel you can avoid it or escape it. Whatever this cracking thing is about you, within you, is going to happen whether you like it or not. So there's no point in trying to resist change. Change is on the way. What does this cracking represent? For you, pile number one, it's an understanding that you are a valuable being. And I believe on some level you know that, but knowing is not enough. Embodying it is something very, very different. So if you think you're of value, but you believe otherwise, then that lack of value is going to mess with your perception and mess with your experience. So this openness that's being created has a lot to do with your own inner value. How do I value myself? Do I value? When you look at how do you reject yourself? Every time you reject yourself, you are rejecting something because it has no value to you. But if something is a part of you and you are a being that's part of all that is, how could it possibly be that there is no value to a part of you? That's a human thought. Okay? You have within you a lot of valuable information. Whether you see yourself as that or not, that's a separate question, and it's a conversation to be had. But if you believe that you have value to offer, likely what's going to happen, you're going to offer it to others. Because that's what we do. When we have something of value, we like to share. Okay? What could that possibly mean for you? You're less worried about what people think. So you are likely waking up to the fact that what people think of you is really kind of sort of irrelevant. What's really relevant and what's really important and what really is that you value is what you think and believe about yourself. I believe in you. I see your light. I see what you have to offer. What I see in you is irrelevant. Do you see that in you? Here's the thing. If you don't see it in you, you're not going to help someone else see it in them. And you are here to show up in life and help people be themselves. You can't do it for them. You can only share information and show up and being an example. So pile number 1, stop hiding. Stop hiding so much. At least understand the purpose of your hiding. Why are you hiding? Now, we all do it on a certain level as humans. It's because we're conditioned, right? So you are likely someone who's closing a certain chapter in your life and moving on to something else. And this information somehow is likely going to help you to arrive at the point where you make a choice. Because we all have decisions. We make decisions all the time. But these are type of decisions that you will be making that will likely reflect in your life in some big way. So there's a choice to be made, pile number 1. And the cracking, if you will, is going to help you expose your truth. And that truth will help you decide or move forward with whatever it is that you're going to be moving or deciding. Okay, and it has to do with money. Well, for some of you, maybe a lot of you, has to do with money. There's an exchange. Okay, if you are someone who does not believe in his or her own value, what you attract to yourself is going to be of a similar vibration. We know how this works, right? You may offer something of value, but you may feel that people don't see it as value, and you're going to get that feedback as your experience. That's not what you want, okay? You don't want to be rejected. Nobody does, right? But oftentimes, you being rejected has nothing to do with you. It has more to do with the other person. So, pile number 1, obviously, there is a part of you that has been rejected, and that has created a distortion in terms of your beliefs about your own value. And I feel like you're in a process when that's being exposed. So there is some light coming through, if you will. Light meaning awareness, clarity, visibility. And because of this creativity and because of this visibility, you're going to decide on some level that you no longer are going to suppress who you are, and you're going to decide to show up just as you are, without hiding. Just going to show up as you are. That takes a lot of guts, takes a lot of courage, takes a lot of confidence. Because if you don't feel that you are enough, but on the other hand, I'm seeing you showing up as you are, something must happen, okay, in order for you to make that choice. So if you feel you're not enough, but you're going to put yourself out there, that not enough part of you is going to come up with a lot of fears. But what I'm seeing for you is you are letting go of that fear in exchange for something else, in exchange for more confidence. Now, how do you arrive at that? That's a process. That's not for this conversation. But you are part of this process now, or you are soon going to be in this process of cracking open. Okay? Hathor light codes, light immersion, full system upgrade, power recall. So this card is supposed to represent what are your qualifications that you're not aware of yet. And what Hathor light codes, I'm hearing the word healer again. Again, most of you are going to connect with that word on some level. But this is a very Egyptian energy. Hathors, I work with Hathors. They're higher vibrating beings. They're just immense in love and just compassion, and there's like zero negativity. You have connection with these beings. You might actually have a strong voice. Perhaps one of the things that you've been limiting most of your life is your voice. You have something very powerful to say. So you might be someone, the type of quote-unquote healer that helps people heal through voicing information. And it's a very powerful information. And this information is stored within you. It's in your DNA. Hathor light codes. You are likely someone who can channel Hathors. Perhaps you already do. Again, they're very magnificent beings, and they're all about healing. They're just powerful, beautiful, and just so gentle, yet huge. So in order for you to work with these beings, you must be a powerful healer, because if you don't feel like you're a powerful healer, these these energies won't be able to reach you, because your feelings of insignificance is going, which is value, is going to stop you from connecting with those higher beings, because you have to come up in your vibration. They come down a little bit in vibration so that you can have an experience, you can have a collaboration. So this is a message for you to work on your quote unquote insecurities, because you have the power to connect to higher consciousness and different realms. But your own belief in your insignificance is not helping it happen. Okay. Incidentally, you just have to face your fears. That's all. Fears around your insignificance, and they're connected to, will I be accepted? The question is, will you accept you? Some people will not accept what you have to say. Doesn't mean anything. It just means they don't accept what you have to say. They have the right to do that. Doesn't mean anything bad about you. It doesn't mean that what you're saying is bad or wrong, or, of course. If you're a mean person, that's a different story. That's not what I'm talking about. This is a reminder that you are a powerful being and you have access to powerful beings. Whether you believe in this access or not, you're going to either benefit from this access or not. The access you have is to something very, very powerful and very healing. But if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to access this powerful healing. Your job is to decide whether you want to access this healing or not access the healing. And if you are not in accessing this healing right now, it's because there is something that's preventing you from that. Perhaps you don't believe that's possible for you. Perhaps you don't believe you're worthy. Remember, nonsense. Unworthiness is a human-made up thing. You cannot have no value because you are part of Source, which is all there is. Okay? So we're dealing with your human conditioning. Okay? Pile number 1, I'm going to say it again. You are a powerful healer. Whether you choose to accept it or not, that's up to you. If you choose to deny it, ask yourself the question why. What is the reason for me denying this? And then see what happens. There's some powerful work for you to do. What needs addressing? Capacity to love. How close or how open you are in terms of giving and receiving will give you corresponding experience. So if you are closed off to receiving, you're not going to receive all the experience that the universe could give you, including possibly connecting with these higher beings. Okay? So the question then becomes, in order for you to experience more of that connection, your heart has to be more open. So the question then becomes, why is my heart not open? What are you holding on to? What story are you holding on to that's not allowing your heart to be fully open? It's simple. It's fear-based. Your job is to address the fear in you that does not allow more love to come through, including with all these powerful different beings. Okay? The message for you is you are loved more than you could possibly know. You almost cannot know in this human experience unless you've had almost like an out-of-body experience, because it's just the level of vibration, or the love is a level of vibration that a human vehicle cannot experience in its fullness, because you would blow up. You would blow up your circuits. I'm not talking about the romantic type of love. It's way beyond that. Okay? Again, you are part of everything that is. Anything that tells you that it isn't so, it's your mind telling you. It's conditioning. Address this conditioning, this limiting conditioning, in order to access these powerful beings. Okay? You have access to this information. I want to say, I'm putting you on notice. Now, of course, no one is telling you to do anything. This is merely helping you recognize that there is something going on in your life, and this is possibly the reason, this is possibly the little piece of the puzzle to help you understand what's going on. Okay? You can always be more. You can always love more. You can always give of yourself more. Not the type of giving where you are giving and giving but practicing not receiving. No, that's giving for quote unquote usually the wrong reasons, and it's usually fear-based. So pile number 1, examine your reasons for giving. For you giving. Examine your reasons for you giving. If you give because it feels good, do it. If you give because there is some underlying reason that's fear-based, you might want to address that, because then you're giving, quote unquote, for the fearful reasons. If you give for fearful reasons, you're never going to be happy and sustained. It's just never going to happen. Okay? Self-sustenance, what does that mean? Be okay with being yourself. We are programmed to believe we are not enough. So essentially what you are doing is you need to reprogram your program. Okay? So continuing to tell yourself that you are not enough, or I can't have this, or that's not for me, or they're better, that's not serving you on, and well, it does serve you, it keeps you stuck, but we want you to be more. Okay? So addressing your beliefs when you believe that say that you're not good enough, you can't this, you can't have this, you can't, that's all conditioning. Okay? In order for you to have this more powerful experience with these beings, you have to address your fears of inadequacy. Okay? And realize that inadequacy is not a thing. It is a human made up belief. And your job is to essentially rewire yourself. I love helping people rewire themselves. When I say rewire, believe it or not, I'm going to say believe it or not, but I know you already believe it. Healing happens in the mind. Healing doesn't happen in the body, it happens in the mind. Yes, the body heals, but it's in the mind. Okay? So, cracking yourself open and realizing certain truths and realizing that you are so much more than you give yourself credit for. That is very healing. And that's going to help you open your heart. Okay? So that's what I have for you, pile number 1. Exciting. All right, pile number 2, let's see what we have for you. What part of you is being born, or what part of you wants to be born? The great severing, Mars energy, anger, conflict, softening to love. What I'm hearing is fear of abandonment. Okay? Most people have this feeling, fear. It's to the degree of how much it drives you, how much you are influenced by it. If you are fearing rejection, you're literally fearing abandonment, because abandonment and rejection go hand in hand. So we all have rejection wounds. That's not news to anybody. And we often hold on to these wounds, and we make these wounds almost like part of our identity. Okay? For example, if you have felt rejected, at times you might have arrived at an understanding that there's something wrong with you, or that you're not enough. Pile number 1 talked about that, right? So this is about, again, facing they're saying solar plexus, even though I would have said orange is sacral chakra. It's facing your fears predominantly connected to your solar plexus, which is predominantly connected to your own power. Okay, you may have a lot of gifts that you have brought with you, which you have, and you do have a lot of gifts. But if you don't feel empowered, you're not going to effectively use these gifts. It's just not going to happen, because you're going to be coming from a space of limitation. You're going to be coming from a space of scarcity. So even though you might be already, these gifts, powerful gifts, may be a part of you. If you are afraid of being rejected, you will 100% hold yourself back. Okay. Anger, Mars energy, anger, conflict, softening to love. What I'm hearing is conflict resolution. We're all conflicted inside. Some more, some less. We live at conflict with ourselves. We live at conflict with source most of the time. Okay? Why would we want to have conflict with source of all that is? How does that make any sense? It's like having a best friend who has all the answers available, but you're in fight with it. Like, why? When you're at conflict with source, you're at conflict with yourself because you are part of source. So what are you conflicted with on the inside? What are you conflicted with? What's your biggest inner conflict? That you're not enough? Okay, let's examine it. Why do you believe you're not enough? Well, because this and this happened. Okay, so you made it in your mind that this experience means that I'm not good enough. Okay, are you not good enough? Look at your life. You've come this far. You're looking at this energy, or you're hearing this energy, you're feeling this energy. You've done many things. You certainly are more than enough. I mean, it takes courage to be you. So what's not enough about you? Not only that, if you were enough, how would that change your life? Well, I would stop limiting myself. Stop limiting yourself now, and then realize that you are way more than enough. Don't wait for the outside to change before you make a choice. Make a different choice, choose differently, and the outside will change. Okay? What are your qualifications? Memories of Atlantis, spiritual acceleration, progress, technology. You see this Egyptian symbol? It's Ankh. So there is a connection to Egypt, Atlantis. You may actually be a former Atlantean. You likely have lived in that civilization. You might be technologically inclined. You're likely very heady, very analytical, which is fine, as long as you're not too intellectual, because then you're severing your heart from your experience. You don't want to just understand your experience. You want to embody your experiences. You want to feel. So you might be practicing not feeling. So how do you deal with your feelings? How do you numb your feelings? Do you numb your feelings first and foremost? If not, then message is not for you. But if you do numb your feelings, if you suppress your feelings, what are you suppressing? And why are you suppressing it? Do you believe that you can't be yourself? Why? Why do you believe that? Why do you believe that you can't be yourself? Well, because the last time I was myself, I got punished. So you're holding on to past experience. Your past experience still has a hold on you. So your body is still very charged with the energy of that past experience. Okay? So you might want to look at clearing that up. You want to clean up some of that energy. It doesn't, I almost want to say it's waste of time holding on to something that's limiting. But it's in a bigger scheme, it's just an experience. It's valuable as is. But point is, nobody wants to feel less than. Nobody wants to feel not valuable. Nobody wants to feel not worthy, okay, or not enough. So your desire is to be more of you. That's your desire. Okay. Incidentally, you are probably one of those type of healers where you will help others recognize their own value. Okay. And if you cannot see your own value, how will you help others see theirs? In other words, to help others see their value, you have to learn how to see your own value, because only from that space can you share the how. Okay. If you don't know how to see your value, you cannot help someone to see their value. It's never going to happen. You're not going to show someone how to make coffee if you've never made coffee in your entire life. You might have seen it somewhere, but you haven't had that experience. And reading about something or seeing something is very different than actually experiencing it. Okay? Walk your talk, pile number 2. Walk your talk. Okay? I see some of you are smiling. The number 89 is somehow connecting here. So 1989 may be a powerful year for you, or was a powerful year for you. 89, the number 89, 8, 9, something there. They add up to 17. 17 adds up to 8. Okay, powerful number. 89, the number, actually, let me just look at something. I'm going to have to do it later. I have a deck of cards that go to 140, I think. I'll see if I can do that later. But anyway, number 89 is somehow important for you. Progress, technology, spiritual acceleration. It might feel like things are going fast for you right now, and maybe a little bit too fast. Maybe too much is happening all at once. And it's like you're on a mission. Your soul is on a mission. You're very driven, you're very focused, and you just want to move forward. Be careful that you don't move forward too fast. Okay? Because if you move forward with your old conditioning, then you are moving forward quickly, dragging your drama behind you, and eventually that drama is going to be expressed in your life. So take this time right now, in the energy of being reborn, to understand some things about yourself, particularly, how do I hold myself back? Why do I hold myself back? Do I hold myself back? If you don't know if you hold yourself back, ask yourself this question: is this something I would like to have or desire in my life? If the answer is yes, then ask yourself, how am I holding myself back from it? Okay. Now, if you say, yes, my experience is to grow wings, I'm going to say you're going to wait for a while, because you're here to be a human, and humans generally don't fly. Okay. So let's get real. Okay. If you want, quote unquote, an example, a well-paying job, what is required of you to move closer to a well-paying job? Perhaps in order for you to experience a well-paying job, you first have to believe that you deserve it. If you don't deserve it, you're going to push it away from you, or you'll manage to get it and then you'll muck it up. What drives your behavior? Okay, it's really important for you to see that and to feel that and to understand it, because ultimately I feel at the end of the day, you're here to share with others, and perhaps you understanding it is the very reason why you are here, so you can share it with others. It's tied in with your purpose. Okay, we could say that part of your purpose is to really deeply understand yourself so that you can help others understand themselves. Okay, if we don't understand ourselves, it's equivalent of walking around with blinders, and then we bump into things. We don't have to bump into things if we don't want to. We just have to be able to see more clearly. Now, if we don't even know we have blinders on, we're not going to take off these blinders, because we just don't even realize we have blinders on. Perhaps you're helping people realize they have blinders, just like you do, just like Joanna does. Blinders are beautiful. They help you see things from a certain perspective. Once you realize that you have a blinder on, you can take it off and you can have a new experience. You can have a new perspective. And whether you feel valuable or not valuable, that is a perspective you hold of yourself. If you believe that you are not enough, or if you believe that you are enough, that is a perspective you hold of yourself. So how you hold yourself back is based purely on your perspective you have of yourself. So if you want something with a lot more money and you are not having that experience, examine your beliefs, your deeply hidden beliefs about value and money, because it's likely proportionally different than what you really believe. Remember, what you believe, what you are conditioned to believe, is likely to happen. That's just, you're not going to waste your time focusing on something you don't believe in. That's very rare. That's very rare. Okay. On the other hand, you're going to focus on something you believe you want, but what you actually believe about what you want is very different. Okay. So in that instance, yeah, you're going to put a lot of effort to something you want, but it's actually something you're denying, something you're saying, I don't want it. If you've been working on something and it's not happening, either you don't want it, okay, or it's not what you want, or you don't know how to ask for it, or you don't understand what is required of you to have that experience. And it's looking at yourself. That's a big one. Okay. No more denial. No more denying yourself of yourself, and just no more denial. Okay. Self-denial is a big thing, and we humans do it all the time. Most don't even know it. That's why we live in a prison, because we don't even realize we live in a prison. And it's a prison of our own making. Powerful stuff. What needs addressing? Energetic movement. Clear your energy. Clear your stuff. I actually feel that you are in this energy, and things might feel very chaotic right now, but you are also releasing. So either you are in that energy and you are in the process of releasing and it's uncomfortable, or it would behoove you to release certain things in order for you to have a lighter heart and a new experience. It's all about the releasing. Okay. I feel like there's a lot going on with this being. Incidentally, Ganesha is all about thank you. Ganesha is all about removing obstacles. I just heard the word approval. So for many of you, what you are releasing or would be good for you to release has a lot to do with the idea of approval. Approval is tied to rejection. Okay? When we feel rejection, it is always tied to the fact that we reject a part of ourselves. So what we have to do is we have to embody, we have to welcome back, we have to accept the part of us that we are rejecting so that we accept ourselves. And then whatever anybody does, it's either icing on the cake or it's irrelevant. It's a completely different frequency. It doesn't mean don't pay attention to what people say, because people have valuable information, but the more you suffer with your own inner lack, the more you will depend on others to validate you. Because you're depending on others to validate you, they can very easily disempower you. Why would you want to give them that power? Why would you give people power to disempower you? How does that make any sense? Learn how you disempower about yourself. Not learn. Examine how you disempower yourself. If you, for example, a form of disempowering is when you compare yourself to other people, and that comparison leads you to believing that you are less than. That is a form of active disempowerment. Does it feel good? Does it feel good for you when you compare yourself and that comparison makes you feel less than? Does that feel good? No. Then stop doing it. Don't do it. Stop feeding that mechanism. Adopt a different behavior. Okay? So I love this message because it's very in your face. It's very direct. There's no beating around the bush, which I happen to kind of like that kind of communication. It just basically says, examine your beliefs about your self-worth and realize that there's no such thing. And whether you are worthy or not worthy, that's not a question in the bigger scheme of things, because as far as the universe is concerned, throw that out of your vocabulary, because it doesn't even make any sense. As a human, it's a conditioned thought, belief, whatever you want to call it. And the more awareness you have, the more you can recognize your conditioning, and you can recondition your mind. You can set forth new conditions, but you have to first realize your old conditions, okay? So I keep saying the word conditions, and I feel like your environment, your conditions in your environment are changing, and that is a really good thing. And I feel like you might experience a bit of a shift and chaos until summer months if you are in the northern hemisphere, okay? It feels powerful, it feels very charged, it feels like, oh, I like it, but it's a shift. It's a shift. So if it's uncomfortable, that's likely why. Okay, this is what I have for you, pile number 2. Okay, beautiful pile number 3. Let's see what wants to be reborn. What part of you wants to be reborn? We have I remember, soul plan, the fated life versus the destiny life. There's a saying, I don't know exactly how it goes, but it's something along the lines, you were born into a fate, but you have control over your destiny, something like that. In other words, you may have been born into certain circumstances, but it's up to you to define and design your destiny. And oftentimes our experiences usually are responsible for how we choose our destiny. So this is important for you to realize that at every moment and at every turn, you have a choice. The ego is not going to like that. And as a matter of fact, the ego is going to want to punch Joanna in the face. What do you mean I have a choice? I'm stuck here. That's what you tell yourself, yes. But likely you are not tied to a chair or some other place. Now, if you're in jail, generally that's not going to be you, okay? Nothing against people in jail, by the way. That's their experience. You are the one in charge of your destiny. You are also the one designing your destiny. You are also the one making choices towards your chosen destiny. Make sure you choose wisely. Okay? This is similar to pile number 2, so you might want to listen to pile 2, but it has, give me the message again. Stop seeking approval. Now, human here, if you go to the bank, you're seeking approval. That's not what I'm talking about. You're seeking approval to get a loan. I'm not talking about that. Stop seeking approval from outside. That's just noise. Cut out the noise. Seek approval inside of you. The message is, I remember. When you begin to recall the memories of the truth of who you really are, the whole idea of looking for approval is going to go out the window. You don't need anyone's approval to be yourself. Choose to be yourself. What if I don't know who I am? That is a great question. Perhaps it's really good for you not to know who you are so that you can choose who you experience to be. Now, if you choose to experience being a cat, again, you're born to be a human. Don't try to be a cat. It's going to take a lot of energy. Could you make it? I don't know. There is some humans that shift, but most humans are not in that vibration. Okay? Learn to accept yourself, including the quirks you don't like about yourself. Look at yourself as an image and ask yourself, what is it that's missing in me? What is it that's missing about me? What is it that I want or need people to approve of? Because here's the thing. If you want the outside to approve of you, of some part of you, then that means it must be there. Because you're saying, hey, outside, approve of this. Okay, well, if it's here, why do you need approval from outside? How does that make any sense? You approve of you. If you want the outside to approve your validity, first understand that what you hold about yourself in terms of value is up to you. You decide your value, not outside. Being okay with who you are is your big responsibility right now. Well, how can I be okay with this? I am in this terrible situation. Okay, let's examine it. Why are you in this situation? This is not blaming. This is not about faults. This is higher, okay? Remember, at every choice, at every corner, at every turn, you have a choice. You might not like other choices, but you have choices, okay? Saying to yourself, I don't have any choices is, I'm going to be blunt, denying the choices you have. I was going to say lying to yourself, but I'm going to say denying. Okay? It may be uncomfortable for you to make a certain choice, yes, but you have a choice. How you define yourself is your choice. How you let others decide who you are, it's also your choice. Needing people to approve of you is your choice. No, it's not. Well, whose choice is it? If it's not your choice, whose choice is it? What's God's choice? No. God, source, the all, already approves of you. In fact, the whole approval thing doesn't even make sense. Approve of what? What are you looking to be approved of? That you're a good person? Are you a good person? Yes or no? Yes. Well, then why do you need someone to approve of what you already know? What if you say that you're not a good person? Okay, well, let's examine. What do you believe is not good about you? Why are you not a good person? What makes you say that? Why do you believe that? Well, because I was told. So you believe them? Maybe you've done something wrong. Okay. Does that make you a bad person? No, it makes you a human being. It makes you a person who makes mistakes, so that hopefully you can learn from it. If you learn from mistakes, then it's not a mistake. Then it was a learning opportunity. There's wisdom in that, okay? Look for yourself in, back up. In order to truly see yourself, you have to see your essence, which goes beyond your human condition, okay? Your essence is more than your identity, okay? Your identity is concepts you hold about yourself, but that's not your essence, okay? Your essence is what you are beyond your limitations. You first have to see that within you, okay? How do I see that? Well, first and foremost, let's look at your belief. Do you believe that you are part of all that is? No. Okay. What do you believe? What do you believe you're part of? I don't know. Well, let's look at it. Let's examine your beliefs so that you understand how you make your choices. If you believe that there is no help out there for you, you're not going to seek out for help. Does that mean there's no help for you? Absolutely not. The universe is always trying to help you. Perhaps not in a way you want to be helped. That might be the case. Your message is, I remember. Soul plan, the fated life versus destiny life. You are not supposed to be anything. You're not supposed to be anyone. You are you precisely because that's what your soul desires for you. So however you are, however screwed up you think you are, you're still perfect. In your human understanding, no. Beyond the human understanding. Okay? How is that going to affect your choices? Well, let's look at it this way. If you begin to realize that you are part of one, then you begin to realize that there's a part of you that's limitless. When you begin to believe that there's a part of you that's limitless, you're going to hold yourself back a lot less. How does that going to make your choices? Affect your choices? I don't know. You tell me. You tell me. When you are no longer seeking approval and you are realizing that you are capable of so many more things, you are going to naturally make more choices for yourself. You're going to naturally create more of your desires because you're not going to be holding yourself back nearly as much. Why do you hold yourself back? It's your conditioning. Okay? So addressing your inner conflicts, pile number 3, is very important right now. What are your qualifications? Inner earth, base chakra, strength and security, laying foundations. There's something very educational about this image that I get. And again, similar to pile number 1 or 2, I'm not sure. It's understanding what's underneath the obvious. It's understanding what's underneath the obvious. Because what's underneath the obvious is what feeds you. Okay? What's underneath the obvious is often unseen. What is unseen drives your choices and your behaviors. If you don't like the consequence of your choices, if you don't like the consequence of your behaviors, then you have to look at what is driving these choices and these behaviors. If you are not experiencing something that you want and you're experiencing lack, then you are being driven by lack consciousness. It's a human condition. You're here to understand that about yourself. You lack no thing. What you lack is the understanding and the awareness that you lack no thing. If you're looking for validation, then you believe that you need to be somehow validated. Something is lacking. What would you possibly be lacking? Tell me, what could you possibly be lacking? Don't know? Well, maybe you're not lacking anything. Maybe you actually don't lack anything, which by the way is true. Maybe you just tell yourself. Then if that's the case, where is this dialogue coming from? From what truth? What are you telling yourself? Examine your thoughts, pile number 3. What do you tell yourself every day, consciously or otherwise, usually it's unconscious, in a way that actually minimizes you? So you either minimize your efforts, you minimize your responsibilities somehow towards yourself, you minimize your experiences, you come from a space of lack. Okay, again, this is not a diss at anybody. We all do it. We live in a world that's based in lack a lot of the time. So, but you are here to be reborn into a higher version of yourself. Let no lack drive your experiences. Let no lack drive your experiences. Let your inner abundance drive your experiences. Let your inner knowing drive your experiences. When your inner knowing drives your experiences, you're going to be unstoppable. You're going to be unstoppable. Okay? In fact, you are unstoppable, but you're just getting in your own way. Okay? Clear your energy. This is what's required. This is what needs addressing. Very similar to pile number 2. Okay? So there's a need to clear some sacral chakra. It's all about identity. Okay? Don't be so tough on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Why is it so important? Why is it so important for people to see you as perfect or as in charge? Is it really important for you for people to see that you're in charge? Why is it important to you? Now, if you're in a position where you're a leader, yeah, it's important for people to see you in charge, that you are in charge, so they can depend on you, so they can trust you. But there's some conflict going on here. It's about being in charge, but just being seen in charge. It's being seen in a certain way. So pile number 3, you desire to be seen a certain way. Okay? If you want to be seen as a leader, show up as a leader and be the best leader that you can be. First, ask yourself, what is a leader? Okay? Are you afraid of being a leader? If you're afraid of being a leader, well, then ask yourself, why am I afraid of being a leader? Because if you are afraid of being a leader, you are often denying the leader within you. If you deny the leader or the authority within you, then who are you going to give the leading to? Who are you going to assign the leading to? Who's going to lead your life? Who's going to be the authority of your life? If you deny your authority, so you're not an authority of your life, who is your authority? And do you like that? So there is some conflict here with inner authority. Being afraid to see as an authority. Why would you be afraid to be seen as an authority? Is it because too much responsibility? Okay, when was the last time you've experienced a lot of responsibility and it didn't go your way? Likely some other past life association. Okay? Dignity, something about preserving your dignity. Something about preserving, it's important for you to preserve your dignity. I believe that's important for everybody, I would say, but it's important for you to preserve your identity, your dignity. I want to say to you, don't sell yourself out. Stop selling yourself out. Stop shortchanging yourself. Stop invalidating yourself. Stop devaluing yourself. Why do you do that? It's not enough to say, I don't know. No. Because when you know, you can do something about it, because it limits you. Okay? And you are here to be reborn to a greater aspect of yourself. You are here to experience more. You are here to express a more empowered version of yourself. You have to understand how you hold yourself back, how you give power away, how you give your authority away, and stop doing that. If you choose to, you may choose not to. You may decide that you realize that you give your authority away, and you may decide to keep doing that. My hat's off to you. Do it. Do it powerfully. Do it as a conscious choice. Don't let it happen to you. Okay? Because when things happen to you, you're not the driver of your life. Something else is. Do you want that? Do you want somebody else to be the driver of your life? Do you trust somebody else to be the driver of your life? What if they don't know how to be the driver in their life? How can you trust someone who doesn't know what the hell they're doing? Most of the population does not know why they do what they do and for what reason. Because it's all hidden in the subconscious. So you're here, pile number 3, to understand yourself. And likelihood is you're going to share that understanding with others, because anytime you have an understanding, you have valuable information, and that valuable information can be shared. Perhaps down the road, you are going to be helping people clear their stuff. How can you help people clear their stuff if you don't know how to clear your stuff? Also, when I say clearing your stuff, I'm not saying that your stuff is bad. When I talk about stuff, it's about stuff that limits you. That's all I care about. Stuff that limits you. Don't let this stuff limit you any longer. Decide to not limit you. Change your mind. Simple? Not so easy, because it takes practice and training and rewiring your thinking. More belief in you, pile number 3. Very, very, very important. Okay? Because the authority thing came up and because the leadership came up, the more you believe in yourself, the more naturally your authority is just going to come out of you. That you will just feel much more secure about yourself. And if you're going to be helping somebody and you feel secure in yourself and you feel confident, someone is going to feel safe with you. Okay? Imagine going to a doctor and he or she is completely nervous and they're about to do surgery on you. I would be running in the other direction. You want them to be comfortable, and their authority in their fields. You want them to be comfortable and solid, experienced and knowledgeable and confident. You don't want to give yourself into someone who is nervous and terrified, and no. Okay, so leadership, pile number 3. That's what I have for you. These were powerful messages. I really, really like them. I look forward to seeing your comments. Thank you so much for being part of this transmission. If you would like to, of course, work with me and help you with your stuff, my team and I are, every time I have a client that books, I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much, because this is just so, well, for one, it's very humbling to be part of your unfolding, but it's just also, I enjoy it so much just to be able to help you see what I see or what the universe sees, so that you can seize it, so that you can grab it, so that you can become it. And that's very powerful. So happy Easter again, whenever you're listening to it. I would love to hear your comments. If you would like to connect with me and work with me and my team, that information is down below. And I look forward to seeing you again. Take care. Bye-bye.